Why education the overwhelming priority for you?
Because if this country is going to be transformed economically, socially and politically, you need an informed, educated, skilled citizenry. Education is a critical part of doing that. And therefore, we feel that whatever money is available to us should be spent on education first and everything else later.
But if you are a peasant or the child of a peasant in a rural area, and you ask yourself, what's in it for our family, for my son, my daughter, what's your answer to that?
The answer is that the income of a peasant, an educated peasant, is lower than that of an educated peasant. If he is educated, he has the means, the exposure, the susceptibility to new ideas, to improve the productivity of his small farm. We know that in theory, we have tested it in practice, and it works.
The enrolment in the schools, as a result of what has already happened over the last decade or so, is sharply up. Gross enrolment, something over 80% from something only just hovering around 40%. But, and it's a big but, isn't it, the dropout rate is also very high, and especially high amongst girls. Big problem, that.
It is. It's reflective of the quality of education that we're providing. We've done quite well in terms of broadening the access, not as well in terms of the quality of education. And so the focus of our attention over the past year or two has been to move beyond expanding access towards improving the quality of education that we provide at all levels.
That's interesting. It is, you, as it were, look at the schools as the source of the dropout problem, because some say, actually, it's the pressure from home. The children are needed at home, and particularly the girls, the parents still say, you don't need to have an education, your job's here. We need water collected, we need firewood, we need cooking done, we need cleaning done.
There's a bit of both. Much of the dropping out is happening in the early years of the educational ladder. And that's where the quality of education is low. Had we had more and better teachers taking care of fewer numbers of students, they would have the means to cater to the individual strengths and weaknesses of each child.
When you have, as you do, not only a fast-growing economy, but also rising inflation for a variety of reasons, which we don't now need to explore, that puts big pressure on family incomes. Does that make it more difficult to ensure that the children stay at school?
It does, but the impact of inflation in the country varies from place to place. In the rural areas,
it's not so bad.
It's not so bad. Much of the growth is being generated by agriculture, and people have not faced the type of difficulties that the poor in the urban areas are facing. And therefore, we have to address that to make sure that people are relatively well fed, because a hungry child cannot learn.
You talk about the schools and the quality of education. Two possible aspects there, because a lot of school building has been taking place, but you also have a lack of equipment still, children without the necessary books, paper, pencils, let alone high-tech materials. And you also have a shortage of teachers with the skills. Which is your main focus on that? I mean, I say main focus, it may be both.
Well, the key thing is the quality of teachers, the number and quality of teachers. If we have the numbers and the quality of teachers, they can compensate for some shortfalls in the other inputs in the educational system.
Do you have to, we know there's quite a dropout rate amongst the better teachers, which is the problem, because they think, I suspect, they think either we are still not rated as doing an important job. It's still seen as the job which you do if you can't do something else. And also there can be pay differentials with jobs in the private sector. How do you combat that?
The more expensive the pay for the teachers, the less we can do in terms of building more schools. So we have to strike a balance. but I think there is room for improvement in the pay of teachers even more than has been the case so far. I think we have increased the pay of teachers very significantly over the past decade.
Nearly everything that I've heard in this area about the dedication of the whole process to delivering better education has been positive. Now, as you know, there are international organisations working alongside the government in sometimes quite critical roles. And that has involved, like VSO for instance, but I'm not talking to you specifically about VSO, but the process of modernisation of the curriculum and of teaching methods. Is that westernisation? And if so, is it good?
Well, modernization did not mean westernization.
What's the difference?
The difference is modernization tries to incorporate the latest findings of science into the day-to-day activities of society. Westernization might mean wholesale importation of both the science and the peripheral issues, cultural issues, into a country which is not Western. We have nothing against modernization. There might be some benefits to learning from Western culture here and there, but we have to adjust to our own circumstances. And I think we have been focusing more on the modernization aspect of it rather than the westernization aspect.